Section 8.4, Graphing Quadratic Equations in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c. Now, if you'll notice, we have a number in front of x squared. We are going to learn two methods. The very first is called the guess and check method. You make your two binomials. You look at the signs. The last sign is positive, so that means they're both going to be whatever the first sign is. Now look at the very first, your a, which is 2. The factors of 2 are 1 and 2. And technically it's 1x and 2x. So we are just going to split. We don't have any choice but to use 1x and 2x. Factors of 3 are 1 and 3. We don't have any choice but to use 1 and 3. But if you will notice, these two binomials are not identical. So it does matter where you put the 1 and where you put the 3. But I'm not sure where, so I'm going to guess. I'm going to put the 3 here and the 1 here. Now, after I guessed, I have to check. By checking, you don't have to do the entire FOIL method. You only have to do the outer and the inner. So my outside is 1x, and my inside is 6x, which gives me 7x. My middle term is 5x. I don't know what that little slash, but that's a 5x, not a 15x. So what I'm going to do, I am going to switch my 3 and the 1 around. Now I'm going to check. My outside is 3x, and my inside is 2x, which is 5x. That is my middle term, so that is the correct answer. Example B, make my two binomials. First thing you have to do is the signs. If you get the signs wrong, then it will never work out. The last sign is positive, so that means they are both going to be minus sign. Factors of 5. We don't have any choice but to use 1 and 5. 1x and 5x. Factors of 6. Well, you could either use 1 and 6 or 2 and 3. And you always want to list your factors numerically. And start at the bottom and work your way up, because very rarely is it the number 1 in the number. So I'm going to try the 2 and the 3 first. I am guessing. I'm going to put the 2 here and the 3 here. You have to check. So that's a negative 3x, and a negative 10x is a negative 13x. I got it right the first time around, so that is my answer. I am done. Example C, make your two binomials. Both of the signs are going to be positive. Factors of 7, 1x and 7x. Factors of 4, 1 and 4, or 2 and 2. Okay, I'm going to try the 2 and the 2. My outside term is 2x. My inside term is 14x, which is 16x. That is not my middle term. Now, normally I would switch the numbers, but because 2 are the exact same factors, I don't have to do that. I am going to delete the 2 and the 2, and I'm going to try the 1 and the 4. So my outside is 4x, my inside is 7x, which is 11x. That is not my middle term. So I'm going to switch the 4 and the 1 around. My outside is 1x, and my inside is 28x, which is 29x, and that is my middle term. So it took me 3 times before I got the answer on that one. But again, if you don't check, you don't know if you're getting it right. So you have to check. Example D. Make our two binomials. The signs are going to be different. One's positive, one's negative. Factors of 10. Now we can either use 1 and 10 or 2 and 5. So list them numerically. Factors of 21. 1 and 21 and 3 and 7. Now like I said earlier, always start at the bottom and work your way up. Very rarely is it the 1 and the factor and the number itself. Okay, so I'm going to try the 2x and 5x. And I am just guessing. And I'm going to try the 3 and the 7. Check, my outside is a negative 4x. And you might want to do this checking on scratch paper so you don't have to constantly erase. And my inside term is 15x, which is 1x. That is not my middle term. So first, I can either choose to flip the factors in the back or the front, but don't do both. I always switch the back factors first. Okay, so my outside term is a negative 6x, and my inside is a positive 35x, which is a positive 29x. Now, I want a negative 29x. When you have the right middle term but the wrong sign, all you do is switch the signs around. So I'm going to make this minus a plus, and the plus a minus. Now, again, just do a real quick check. My outside is 6x, and my inside is a negative 35x, which is a negative 29x. That is my middle term. Example 2a. My two binomials, the signs are going to be the same. They're both going to be negative. Factors of 3, I don't have any choice but to use 1x and 3x. Factors of 20, I'm going to list all the factors of 20. 1 and 20, 2 times 10, and 4 times 5. Now again, I'm going to start my bottom, work my way up. I'm going to try the 4 and the 5. My outside is a negative 5x, and my inside is a negative 12x, which is a negative 17x. Example 2b. Make my two binomials. This time, the last sign is negative, so my signs are going to be different. Factors of 2n are 1n and 2n. Now, we don't have any choice but to use factors of 1 and 1 and 1. So check, my outside is a negative 1n, and my inside is 2n, which is a positive 1n. I want a negative 1n, so I've got to switch my signs. So I'm going to make this a positive and make this one a negative. So let's do a quick check. 1n and a negative 2n is a negative 1n. Example 2c. Now, if you look at this trinomial, you'll see that the last factor has a variable also. We just use it with the factors of 6. So you look at the last sign is positive, so the signs are both going to be negative. Factors of 2x squared are 1x and 2x. Now factors of 6 are 1 and 6, or 2 and 3. I'm going to try the 2 and the 3, but because of that y squared, it's really 2y and 3y. Now check, my outside is a negative 3xy, and my inside, negative 2 times 2x is a negative 4. It's not yx, it's xy, which is a negative 7xy. So that is my middle term. So you're good. Example 3a. Make your two binomials. They're both going to be negative. Factors of 4 are 1 times 4 and 2 times 2. I'm going to try the 2 first, the 2 and the 2, so 2x and 2x. Factors of 5 are 1 and 5. My outside is a negative 10x. My inside is a negative 1x, which is a negative 11x. That is not my middle term. So I'm going to switch my 5 around. Well, because the factors of 2 are identical, switching the 5 and the 1 around is not going to change anything. So I'm going to erase the 2 and the 2, and this time I'm going to use the 1 and the 4. I don't have any choice but to use 1 and 5. My outside term is a negative 5x. My inside is a negative 4x, which is negative 9x. That doesn't work. So I'm going to switch the 1 and the 5 around. My outside, oh, I already did that. My outside is a negative 1x and a negative 20x, which is a negative 21x. And that is not my middle term. I have used everything. So sometimes it just does not factor. And you can either write not factorable, or some books, and I think this book refers to it as prime. Example B, make your two binomials. Your signs are going to be negative. Factors of 4, either 1 and 4 or 2 and 2. So my outside is a negative 2r and my inside is a negative 9r. That does not work. If I switch the 1 and the 7 around, it doesn't really matter because the factors are the same, so I need to try the 1 and the 4. My outside is a negative 1r and a negative 28r. That's a negative 29r. That's not going to work. So I'm going to switch the 7 and the 1 around. So my outside is a negative 7r and a negative 4r, which is a negative 11r. And that doesn't work. So I have tried everything. So this is also prime. Okay, that is the end of the guess and check method.